We begin today on the court appearance by Tyler Robinson, the man accused extremely credibly of murdering our friend Charlie Kirk in September. He made his first in-person court appearance yesterday out in Utah. He had appeared virtually in 2 previous hearings, and he was allowed to wear civilian gear, not a prison jumpsuit, in order to protect his presumption of innocence, given that while there are obviously no jurors yet, this trial doesn't take place until tentatively January of 2027, he would be on camera with the media there, and they don't want to taint the jury pool. So great. He gets to stand there like some sort of upstanding citizen in his blue button-down shirt and tie. He was all smiles, which is fucking disgusting, because I guess he's feeling joyful. He's maybe feeling like he's going to get away with it. I don't know what he's thinking. I do care, but I don't care about his well-being. His parents sat in the front row. The mother was crying. I mean, I'm sorry that she's sad, and I'm sorry she raised a killer, but that's what she did. Again, I have some empathy for the parents, but not for him whatsoever. And the parents, for the record, did the right thing. When they recognized their son from the pictures that were released of the crime scene by the FBI within the hours after Charlie was murdered, and they recognized the picture of the gun that the FBI released, and they contacted him. They were the ones who identified their own son as having been the person in the photos and that having been the gun that his grandfather gave to him. They contacted their son asking where he was. They eventually figured out that it was him. He reportedly confessed to his parents, who then brought in a family friend who was both a pastor and connected with law enforcement to convince Tyler Robinson to turn himself in, which is what happened. That's how this went down. That's why, among other reasons, he was arrested. His fingerprints were all over the gun, were reportedly over, I can't remember if it was the ammo, in addition to the doors leading to the rooftop, etc. And in addition to confessing to his parents, he confessed to his trans furry lover in text messages that, I grant you, sound odd. They sound a little pre-scripted, but that does not lead sane people to believe this was the FBI creating a false dialogue, but possibly these 2 freaks, Tyler Robinson and his trans furry boyfriend, creating a false dialogue to, in my view, at best, try to exonerate Lance Twiggs, the trans furry boyfriend, from knowing about this thing in advance, which I believe he did. I believe he knew in advance, and I believe his weird trans furry community knew in advance, and some couldn't keep their fucking mouths shut and started spewing off online about wait until September 10th. Wait until you see what happens September 10th. And then when Charlie was murdered, went back online to say, I told you. So I'd love to know where things stand with that piece of the investigation. But because I am a sane person who understands the law, I also know that the FBI, does not run around updating its investigation and releasing the very latest on what they found. And people who are demanding that the FBI or DOJ do so do not know anything about law enforcement. Some of us have been covering in depth legal cases and matters and have even tried cases and matters for years. That is how I have spent the past 30 years of my life, plus trying cases involved in the legal system as a trial attorney, then a Supreme Court correspondent covering cases, civil and criminal, then as a legal correspondent for Fox News, legal commentator for Fox News, and ever thereafter. And let me tell you something. The FBI does not run around updating its information after somebody gets indicted. It doesn't. It would be extraordinary if it were to do so. And the DOJ is extremely tight-lipped, normally, on its criminal cases. When it's not, it's behaving inappropriately. When it's not, you have rogue prosecutors who wasn't with the DOJ, Tish James, but like her, the Attorney General of New York, running around trying to update her case against Donald Trump, or Fani Willis shooting her mouth off about Donald Trump. What did we do when those prosecutors did that? We ripped them a new one because it's inappropriate. Stop requesting or requiring the FBI or the DOJ to update its evidence for you. You're not the target audience. They're trying to preserve the integrity of this case for when they get it in front of a jury who are the only people who matter. I'm sorry, but their opinion is the only opinion that's going to matter in this case. And they will come to that opinion based on evidence that gets submitted to them that passes the rules of evidence, which are there to maintain the integrity of a case and an investigation and of the defendant's constitutional rights. That's how our system works. That's how our system works. Stop demanding that the FBI update you. That's not how it works. And it would be inappropriate for them to come out and shoot off their mouths about the latest and greatest they have, unless and until they are ready to arrest somebody else. And when they are, if they are, on Transtifa, we're all ears. Then they will provide some basic modicum of evidence to support the arresting affidavit, the arrest indictment. That's how this works. By the way, criminal prosecutors have an ethical obligation not to spout off about their evidence in the case. We actually pulled this morning, just in case you were wondering. Rule 3.8 of the ABA model rules restricts prosecutors from making extrajudicial statements that heighten public condemnation. Remember when Fani Willis did that about Donald Trump and his defense lawyers too, or like spouting off about how race was at issue in this case? It was completely inappropriate. And we argued that correctly at the time. So I don't know how we spun from that into we're allowed to spew conspiracy theories about the case because the FBI is not saying anything. That's just backwards. It's not true, okay? It's not. The rules are the same in all the cases, including this one. Now, here's what happened in court. Tyler Robinson went in there charged with aggravated murder and felony use of a firearm, as well as other charges. And what they argued about yesterday was media rights in this case. And by the way, media rights in this case are extremely important, okay? Because neither the prosecution nor the defense are fighting for us to be in there. Neither probably wants us. The prosecutor has acknowledged we may have a limited right. That's not it. Sorry, prosecutor. We have a full right. We're the eyes and ears of the people. You're not, and Judge Graff, you're not going to keep the press out of this courtroom. Maybe you're going to succeed in keeping cameras out. You shouldn't, because they're allowed in Utah, but you shouldn't. But you're not going to keep the press out of this courtroom. I'm sorry to break it to you. We have every right to be in there. This is a public proceeding, and we will be in there. And we will be documenting every word of this trial, no matter how badly the defense attorneys, who are really the ones pushing for it, want us out. We represent the people. And the people have every right to be in there to watch what happens in this case. So what's happening right now in that courtroom is a legal fight over whether the press is even going to be given notice of the hearings that concern the press's right to be present at the hearings and the trial of this case. They're not even sure we get to be there when they argue over our access rights. That's effed up too. We'll see what this Judge Graff rules, but right now he's keeping a very tight lid on even those arguments. And it's somewhat infuriating, as you can hear in my voice. There are issues of public access to this case that need to be protected. And if this judge rules that somehow the press must be excluded from anything other than sealed proceedings, things that must be kept under seal, he's going to be reversed. There was an issue yesterday stemming from an October 24th hearing, which was closed to the public, about courtroom security, media coverage, and Robinson's ability to wear civilian clothing. Media organizations yesterday wanted a transcript of that hearing, but attorneys for Robinson and for the state of Utah have proposed certain redactions to the transcript. An attorney for the Media Coalition, which is good, we have our own media attorney, Michael Judd, urged the judge to let the news organizations weigh in on any future requests that would limit our access. And that's what they were fighting about. The defense also asked Judge Graff to ban cameras from the courtroom completely, citing a content tornado that could permanently devastate the jury pool. We have had jury pools overwhelmed with information about cases for years, ever since the dawn of court TV and of O.J. Simpson and so on. And we've managed it, sometimes well, sometimes poorly, but we've managed it. There are ways of managing cameras in the courtroom. They were about to do this with Brian Kohlberger, who at that point was much more infamous than Tyler Robinson. And it was going to be managed with cameras in the courtroom, and it can be managed here as well. There are, let's see. There was an issue yesterday because the media inadvertently showed Tyler Robinson's shackles. And there's a question about whether that's going to taint the jury pool. It's not. It's not. The media apologized for doing it. It was inadvertent. But the jurors, the potential jurors, understand that the defendant is perceived as a potentially dangerous human because he's on trial for assassinating someone. Let's not pretend the glimpse at his shackles changed anybody's mind whatsoever about Tyler Robinson. For what it's worth, Erica Kirk has made clear she wants cameras in this courtroom. She points out cameras captured her husband's murder, and everyone has seen that video. And why would we not allow it here? There is a disturbing news item today out of KUTV, which is the local CBS station in Salt Lake City, that we are possibly missing, the surveillance video of Tyler Robinson turning himself in. The media tried to get that video with a FOIA request. Again, this is public information. And apparently they were told that it may not be available. Like the standard response from the sheriff's office was, we do not have any records responsive to this portion of the request, as Tyler Robinson did not go to or enter the jail area. They had asked for jail area or holding area video of Robinson when he'd turned himself in. And that's what a records office with the sheriff's office told the media, subpoenaing it, or FOIA-ing it, I should say. A few weeks later, 2 News re-upped the request in a more generalized fashion, asking for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into Washington County Sheriff's Office, just walking in. And the response came, our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period. That suggests it's been deleted. When asked if the video was shared with any law enforcement or legal agency, the department responded, it is my understanding that it was never sent out to any agency. And that certainly makes it sound like they deleted this file if it ever existed. A defense attorney, criminal defense attorney generic, that 2 News asked about this out in Utah, a guy by the name of Rudy Bautista, defense attorney of 26 years in Utah who works on capital cases, said, for the state of Utah, we would certainly hope this video is available. If in fact it's been destroyed and is not preserved, it's very concerning. And if it has, then it's very concerning that they're telling you they don't have it. If they no longer have it, I would have expected them to say that the video has been provided to the Utah County law enforcement, but instead the letter leads, in my opinion, as trying to shut the door and not give you free access to this information. Video of Robinson turning himself in, he adds, would be crucial for the defense work of mitigation. So we'll see whether that actually winds up surfacing, but I agree it's disturbing if it's been deleted.
Ever read the label on a typical bag of chips? It's often a science experiment of seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, and mystery ingredients. Masa is part of the growing movement to bring back real food. Masa chips contain just 3 ingredients: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. Not only do these chips avoid the bad stuff, they also taste delicious too. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic with no crash and no bloat. And if you love Masa, then you will love Vandy Crisps. Vandy, which is Masa's sister company, makes the most delicious 3-ingredient potato chips too. Ready to give Masa or Vandy a try? Use code MK for 25% off your first order at masachips.com or vandycrisps.com, or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? Masa and Vandy are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick a couple of bags up before they're all gone.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.